Brees. You know?
Mark, who do we have at 4? Another guy that's pretty consistent.
A pretty darn good guy, Tom Brady. You know, I guess if he was there in the second round and I needed a quarterback, yeah, I guess I'd force myself to take him. Who are we kidding here? Brady's great year in and year out.
Oh, yeah.
And this preseason so far has looked just dynamite. I mean, you can't go wrong with Brady. He's consistent, and you know what you're getting when you draft Tom Brady.
Just a handsome starter.
Is Brady someone you would put in front of Vic?
I have Brady on my list, number 3, Vic number 4. Yeah, Tom Brady is the model of consistency. You know what you're getting every week. This year, Wes Welker's healthy all season. They brought in Chad Ochocinco to help out. Tom Brady is, to me, he could end up number 1 at the end of this season, and I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
No doubt about it. He likes to spread it out to those tight ends as well, Gronkowski and Hernandez. They're both like wide receivers, really, but they line up at the tight end position. All right, who we got at 5? Another guy that's been probably the most consistent on the entire list, but some question marks going in this year, Eric.
Peyton Manning comes in at number 5, and now I'm wondering, after what I've read this morning, should we have bumped him down a little bit further even? This neck injury seems to be more serious than we all thought. He's going to miss the whole preseason, that's for sure. But he might miss a little bit of the regular season, they're saying now.
If you remember, a couple seasons ago, he had a leg issue, and he missed most of the preseason. His first 3 or 4 games, it was not Manning-esque like.
I traded him after that.
Because
scary? Remember, they kept that a secret.
Sure.
He had 2 knee surgeries they didn't tell us about. And I just started the season like, what the hell's wrong with Peyton Manning? So I traded him.
Well, Robert Irsay's on Twitter, polling people on Twitter who they might sign in case Brady doesn't make it.
That's what you want to do?
I'm telling you, this is not good thing. I don't want to hear this if I'm a Manning keeper owner.
Did Curtis Painter weigh in? Retweet.
Well, the thing about Peyton is he's been that model of consistency, though. He's kind of like the Albert Pujols of the league, where he doesn't get hurt, or if he does, it doesn't matter. He still plays. Doesn't he have the consecutive streak going now? Isn't he the new Brett Favre in the NFL?
He's the next in line. So I would honestly be surprised if he missed regular season time. But look out for those first few weeks, like Mark was saying earlier. Those first few weeks could be ugly if he gets back in there. But at the same time, it is Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
So people are going to get scared of this. People are going to get pretty scared of this, and Peyton Manning might fall a little bit on, in a lot of people's draft boards. So you might just land a Peyton Manning later than you thought you could, and come fantasy playoff time, you're going to be really glad that happened.
Manning's whole career has been predicated on practice. Even before games, he's out there 3 hours before. When Marvin Harrison was on the team, now Reggie Wayne, Collie, Clark, he likes to have his guys out there and just over and over repetition, and he's not going to get that this year.
And as far as the keeper league's concerned, which we have a draft for that tonight, I was trying to look ahead and read people's minds. There's a guy in our league that probably would keep Peyton Manning typically, but I don't think he's going to this year. So like Eric said, you might be able to snag him late in the draft.
Yep.
At number 6 in our QB rankings, our consensus QB rankings, we have Phillip Rivers at number 6, and I really think Phil Rivers going to have a bigger and better year than he even did last year after he got off to somewhat of a slow start last year.
The guy's legit. I mean, he's an elite top-end quarterback. He doesn't matter who he has out there at receiver. He's going to score high numbers on pretty much a weekly basis. And now he's got Vincent Jackson all season.
Yep.
So look out.
Phil, 2 big targets.
Oh, yeah. Phil Rivers is going to go off this year.
Yep. Antonio Gates is healthy. And like you said, Vincent Jackson, Malcolm Floyd's a good receiver. They've got Tolbert and Matthews coming out of the backfield. What's not to like with Rivers?
Yeah, agreed.
Should be a big year. Who we got at 7, Mark?
Tony Romo. I think this is the year Tony Romo stays healthy, puts together the numbers that everyone's been waiting for, and really, really gives Dallas a good run at a playoff shot.
I like Tony a lot, too, this year. If he stays healthy, I think they've made some changes on that offensive line where maybe he won't be running for his life so much. I think Des Bryant's going to be a superstar. Maybe not this year, but maybe next, but he's definitely going to take steps forward this year. Miles Austin's still a terrific player. Jason Witten. Tony Romo. I wouldn't be surprised. Our top 8, and next we have Matt Schaub. Our top 8, to me, all these guys could almost be interchangeable by the end of the season. I'm pretty sure it's a consensus, too. My top 8 are the same guys as our consensus top 8. I think that's... I mean, these are your top-level quarterbacks. These top 8 guys, you want to get your hands on one of these guys for sure, I think.
Well, you mentioned Schaub in at number 8. Obviously, he's got one of the best wide receivers in the league at Andre Johnson.
Yep.
A guy that I think you can sleep on a little bit this year and is going to have a big year with Rowdy Roddy in the wide receiving core. And now Julio Jones, the rookie. Matt Ryan comes into our list at number 9.
Matt Ryan, and I got into it was a thing that Jim Day posted a month or so ago, and I got into a good debate with a few people because the question was, who would you rather have in a keeper league, Matt Ryan, Josh Freeman, or Sam Bradford? And I'm like, Matt Ryan, in like his third season in the league, finished as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Listen, this kid is a quarterback, and his stock is just going to keep rising every year. He's going to get better and better, and they're going to put more of the offense on him every year. And I think Matt Ryan is a guy that, if you hold for quarterback, if you get everything first, maybe with the exception of tight end, you could probably still sneak in, get a Matt Ryan, and honestly not miss a beat.
All right, Mark, round out the top 10. Who we got at number 10?
Josh Freeman, Tampa Bay, who I think is one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh yeah,
I've sung this guy's praises since the middle of last season. He's really come on. He's learning the system. He's got the tools. He's good size, good arm. He's got good players. He's got Mike Williams, Aurelius Ben, the former Illinois player, LeGarrette Blount out of the backfield, Winslow at tight end. I like this team a lot, and I think Freeman's perfect for this bunch.
Who had the most rushing yards as a quarterback? Not named Michael Vick last season. Josh Freeman.
How many yards did he have?
Quite a few, but no touchdowns.
And no touchdowns. That's right. And one other thing, when you mentioned, I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people think with Vick, they look at the rushing yards you get also. Let's look at Rodgers. Rodgers had 356 yards rushing also, and like you said, Freeman. So there's a couple other guys that can get you those rushing yards also. Just don't fall in love with Vick and think he's the only guy that's going to get you the rushing yards.
And you have to think Freeman's going to find that end zone with his legs more than once this season. So add that in.
He's only going to get better.
Agreed. Listen, and Jim said this, quarterbacks are so deep this year that a guy like Josh Freeman, should be justification enough for you to not take a Michael Vick in the first round. You can get a guy like Matt Ryan or Josh Freeman late in the draft, and these guys are going to produce like top scoring quarterbacks.
Well, those are our top 10 consensus quarterback rankings. You can see the top 25 on Facebook in just a matter of moments. We'll probably get it up after the show or before next week's especially, but we'll get the top 25 up there for you. Fantasy Football 101 on Facebook. Right after the top 10, though, you still have big names like Big Ben, Eli, Flacco, Bradford, and Stafford that we didn't even talk about. So, guys, let's talk about a couple of give me one or two sleepers that you like at the quarterback position that we didn't mention yet, and maybe give me someone that's maybe up there that could be a bust this season too.
Sleepers for me, for one, Colt McCoy, seems like he could be a real player, but it might not be this season for the breakout. I'm going to say Jay Cutler. I think a lot of people have him low on their board specifically because of the looks on his face. Like, people don't like him, but Jay Cutler, he wasn't a bad fantasy quarterback last year. He got sacked a lot of times, but now the addition of Roy Williams is going to help. Another year in the Mike Martz system is going to help. Jay Cutler, don't just toss him to the curb and think he's done for and no good. This guy, like I said earlier, could end up being a top 10 quarterback by the end of the season. So Jay Cutler for me is a good sleeper at quarterback.
Mark?
Yep, good. So I like